There's no pain like the pain you get when a woman you love rips your heart out and then laser bombs it into 1,000 pieces. Let's get into the pain. In order from least to greatest pain it caused me personally. Number 5, Kima cheats on Cheryl in season 3 of The Wire.
He looks down at me and he smiles, real quiet like, and he drops his cuffs. He says, "Here you go, Rook." And then he dropped the bracelets and walked away. I mean, I know he don't like it. I was proud.
Picture this. It's 2004. Gay relationships on television are still very much taboo. But here comes one of the greatest series of all time, at least by Obama standards, which is good enough for me because this show is good. And they give us a badass lesbian detective in a long-term relationship with her live-in partner, Cheryl. Now look, I watched the same show y'all did. Kima and Cheryl were by no means a fairy tale couple. You can see their problems coming pretty much from the moment Cheryl reveals that she doesn't really want Kima to be doing the thing that Kima wants to be doing, which is to be out on the streets fighting crime, putting herself in danger. But here comes season 3. Cheryl has become pregnant after getting artificially inseminated, and Kima, kinda pretends to support it, but we as an audience know she's not really into the whole baby thing, and she begins cheating on her. I'll never forget the moment Kima's cheating on Cheryl and gets a phone call on her flip phone, and when she goes to silence it, this big cheese-eating grin spreads across her face like she's the Grinch of eating. It's a real Kima's become the sleazeball McNulty moment in the series, and I won't spoil how this relationship turns out, but I will say Kima did a doozy on my heart in season 3. Our 4th cheating lesbian on the list may have the greatest lesbian couple ship name of all time. I am, of course, referring to #Calzona. Number 4, Arizona cheats on Callie in season 9 of Grey's Anatomy. I will never admit to being a Calzona stan. Their relationship was, from everything I can remember, terrible. But I am a Sada Ramirez stan and appreciate them giving us a iconic bisexual character in the great Callie Torres. Arizona could be an interesting character at times, although I will say the fact that they ended up just kind of writing her off, seemingly due to being bored with her character, it kind of shows how much value she had as a character in their eyes. The season 9 cheating comes long after Grey's Anatomy has jumped the shark. Indeed, every time I hear Grey's Anatomy season 58 or whatever, I think, oh, that show's still on the air. They really said, ER, watch us go even longer. The Calzona cheating will always go back to Arizona being angry at Callie for choosing to amputate her leg, which, as everyone knows, is dumb, because ain't no way in hell I'm choosing to up my entire marriage because my wife chose to let me live. What is wrong with Arizona? Doesn't matter. 2 seasons later, she'll find out it wasn't even Callie who amputated her leg. Needless to say, by the time the end of season 8 rolls around, the shark hasn't been jumped. It's been vaulted over, somersaulted over, set on fire, and blasted out into there's no coming back from this space. I mean, by this point in the show, they've already almost killed or successfully killed dozens of people. So doing it in a believable way just wouldn't cut it. No, it had to be a plane crash. And off the backs of this shark jumping plane crash, we learn in episode 1 of season 9 that Arizona lived. She didn't die in the plane crash, but she had to have her leg cut off. Callie has made the decision, and Arizona will really never get over this. By the end of season 9, we will be watching their relationship explode inside the hospital after Arizona had decided to bang another doctor, and whoops, they switched scrub tops afterwards, and whoops, Dr. Lauren's totally walking around with Arizona's wedding ring pinned to it, whoops, cluing Callie into the whoops affair they just had.
Hey, is that Arizona's ring? Into your scrub top? Yeah.
The resulting argument is stupid, as a cheating Arizona screams, "You weren't on the plane, Callie!" Like that somehow absolves her of the cheating. The best is that she says it twice, going full, "You weren't on the freaking plane." Arizona, what fucked up school did you attend as a child? Because the one I attended had me doing things like, I don't know, considering apologies, considering saying like, "I'm sorry that I had sex with another woman." I think the thing I hate most, and there's a lot to hate in this season of Calzona, the thing I hate most is during this scene, Callie gets a wounded puppy dog look on her face and just continues standing there as Arizona screams at her that she lost nothing. I cannot believe Arizona someone else and is as indignant as she is during this scene. Like, she's more offended than Callie is. Coming in at number 3 on our list, season 3 of Master of None, Denise and Alicia cheat on each other. Season 3 of Master of None was an interesting watch for me, although it didn't feel like I was watching television. It felt like I was watching a bunch of long, drawn-out performance art pieces. Like, one of the most memorable scenes of the whole season is just Lena Waithe's character eating a sandwich inside of a car for like 20 minutes. But I did really enjoy watching Denise and Alicia living in their cozy upstate New York cottage. It's almost like Waithe and Aziz Ansari, who wrote the season together, went down a lesbian cottagecore rabbit hole and came out on the other side with the blueprints for this season. The cheating itself is probably the least dramatic out of all of the cheating episodes on this list. Indeed, the slow pace of the season sort of filters out a lot of the drama we're used to seeing in Netflix television shows. Instead, I recall feeling like a disappointed parent when Denise hooks up with her friend while Alicia's away. The reason this is so heartbreaking for me is because of the way they chose to tell the ending of this couple's story. They sort of wind up years later, broken up, but still seeing each other behind their current significant others' backs. We see them meet up in the final episode, discuss their children, their lives, their SOs, and then casually engage in an affair. I guess more poetry in a season that clearly wanted its viewers to watch and go, "Ooh, so much art." What's heartbreaking is that the two characters clearly love each other, never can find a way to make it work, and on top of it all are now like screwing over their current SOs who, like, I assume in this world have feelings and like matter. Why are Denise and Alicia broken up if they still want to be together? Why couldn't they make this relationship work? And is it because a happy ending just isn't artsy and cool enough for Aziz? I mean, as an audience, we are given the story that Denise isn't ready for kids and that contributes to them breaking up. But then at the end we learn Denise has a kid. So like, what the
We had some plans. We done. We got all
The thing is, babe, mine wasn't a fling. Mine wasn't a fling.
Okay. All right. So now you love it.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I love that.
Then you know
Maybe
what?
she can
You
give
go
me
ahead.
more than you
Go
can.
find the
Yeah.
and get you Smokey Robinson's hair grease.
The second most heartbreaking cheating lesbian also happens to be the only real person on this list. I am, of course, speaking of Ann Lister. Number 2, Ann Lister cheats on Ann Walker with Mariana in season 2, episode 4 of Gentleman Jack. Indeed, throughout her career as a lesbian, she broke hearts left and right, leaving crushed women in her wake as she continued on her quest to find a woman who would move in with her and be a well-matched companion. Turns out that partner was Anne Walker, a younger, richer, less experienced heiress who certainly struggled with a lot of mental problems throughout her life, but also certainly loved Ann Lister hard. I honestly struggled with whether to make this my number one heartbreaker on the list, because this more than likely actually went down, and that makes the pain even more real. When Ann Lister visits Mariana during Christmas, it's after her and Ann Walker have already been married. And you know, it's great that in this passionate discussion with Marion, Ann Lister is standing up to her and passionately declaring, Ann Walker is my wife. But hot damn, does Ann Lister put herself straight into the eye of the Mariana's horny blizzard. Like, what did you think was gonna happen when the previous night, this woman's all over you, kissing you, all up in you, and then the next night, you two find yourselves in private quarters after dinner? What did Ann Lister think was gonna happen? Why even agree to those circumstances when she's already come on to you once? I'll tell you why. Mariana's a hot lady, and Ann Lister's a horny. This was tied with gross Uncle Soden banging his dead brother's wife for my least favorite sex scene of the season. I just can't disconnect from Anne and Anne's relationship the whole time her and Mariana are doing what they're doing. During the scene filled with Ann Lister and Mariana's heavy breaths and moans, I just kept thinking of Ann Walker back at Shipton, where she moved in with you. It's the 1800s, and this woman moved in with you. What the f*** is wrong with you, Ann Lister?
You do still love me, don't you? You know I do.
Okay, we have reached our top spot in the countdown. If you haven't guessed it yet, no list of cheating lesbians would be complete without the iconic lesbian relationship that is Bette Porter and Tina Kennard from The L Word. Number 1, Bette cheats on Tina with the carpenter. Oh, Candace, you are a hot carpenter, and holy does this hot carpenter launch one of the longest running on-again, off-again lesbian relationships in the history of women-loving women TV. It's crazy, but I find that a lot of fans forget about Tina cheating on Bette later in the series after they've already had their daughter, and Tina does a lot of up stuff. And I think it's because it's later in the show and it's just less memorable, it's less distinguishable from, like, at that point, all of the various cheating that has gone on. Bette and Tina are really the central couple of the entire original series of The L Word, and it's not like fans are totally unacquainted to cheating. Like, I don't know if it happens in the pilot, but pretty early on, Jenny is cheating on her significant other with Marina, so it's not like it was like, whoa, shocking. But it was fairly surprising when, at the end of season 1, after Bette and Tina have gone through the pain and the loss of a miscarriage, Bette gives in to the hot carpenter hitting on her. I'll be honest, I think one of the reasons this affair is so memorable to fans goes back to something I feel the fan base has really always struggled with how to handle, and that is the scene when Bette, Tina, after Tina discovers the affair. Even with everything that went down in this series, and there was some f***ed up that went down in this series, this scene will always stand out as the most disturbing scene to me. The first time I watched it as a fan, I was so confused. Was consent given? Was it not given? Why is this Bette's go-to move after Tina learns about the affair? I just was like, really confused. After we learn, Tina ends up moving out of the house. So I feel like as a viewer, I was like, what did I just watch? I really feel this scene cemented the affair in our minds, and in a way kind of continues to break our hearts to this day, as we are now in season 3 of Generation Q, and I have no idea what they are going to do with Bette and Tina. I do hope whatever it is they decide, I hope it is something that the fan base finds satisfying and worth it. And, you know, I don't even know if that's possible, but I hope they do it. That's 5 times a lesbian character cheated. That broke my heart. If you want to watch a video that is the opposite of this video, honestly, this was like mildly depressing, check out my lesbian kissing scenes video. I promise it will not depress you.